So I need a break from the DT 1770s. I need a big break from them because I'm getting tired of listening to the 1770s. So I'm going to address a question posed by one of my viewers. I don't know if he subscribed or not, and I hope he did. And if you're watching this video, hey, maybe you'll subscribe. The question was, does the Monoprice Retro, which I have, does it maintain its tonality, its soundstage, its detail using a mobile device like a phone? Well, I can do that test, but that presupposes, the question presupposes an assumption, which is that the retros actually do have detail and soundstage. I haven't done a review on the retros yet. I've just done an unboxing a long time ago. So I figured, why not just do that? I'm not doing a full sound test. All I'm going to do is listen to a couple of songs, talk about the detail, listen to it on the JDS Labs LDAC amp, Element, what it is. Ugh, awful title. The Element DAC amp. And then I'm going to switch to my iPhone 10 with a Lightning dongle to a 3.5 millimeter because it's dongle life. And then I'm going to try to tell you whether or not I hear a difference. I think that's the best way to go about this. First, establish whether or not there is, in fact, good soundstage first from a desktop DAC amp, and then go to the mobile and determine if there's any change. Before we get there, here's the Monoprice Retro. You can go on their website and buy it. You can go on Amazon and buy it. It's a 50 millimeter dynamic driver. It has a 32 ohm impedance, and the sensitivity is about 94 decibels, which is not bad. It's it's drivable. On my FIO Q5, it can be driven, although once you push it to the higher volume, you start getting a little bit more detail from these headphones. So, without further ado, I have to say that I replaced the pads on these with the Brainwaves sheepskin pads, the oval, which are extremely comfortable. The pads that came with the headphones were fine, but the Brainwaves pads just elevate the comfort to another level altogether. I mean, these headphones are all plastic. There's nothing spectacular about the build quality of these headphones whatsoever, but they are light, easy to wear for long periods, and with the pad change, it just, yeah, you can wear these all day. Okay, so there is not much sound isolation because there's not much clamping force, for better or worse. Let's go to my test playlist, and why don't we do Flight from the City? And I'm going to start at about 9 o'clock on the DAC amp. And Flight from the City, I'm just going to do for a little while. It's a longer song, 6.5 minutes. I'm not going to do the whole 6.5 minutes. I'm going to listen to it for about 2.5 minutes or so. Okay, here we go. At 9 o'clock, it is audible, but I can definitely take it higher, so I'm going to. We'll take it to about 11. It's clear. I've had headphones that have been clearer. Even the 1770s are a little bit clearer than this. But it's not veiled. It's just compared to other headphones, higher priced headphones, it's not clearer than those. Not clearer than 1770s. How about that? It's at 1 o'clock now. So in the song, there's like this drizzle or electric current that plays when the piano is playing, and only at certain parts, not throughout the song. I can hear that. I can hear that electric buzz. There's, the bass impact is good. I mean, it's piano. That's all that's playing. But the bass I'm talking about is actual piano keys hitting the keyboard. And I can feel that in the ear cup. There are other instruments here, string instruments, that support the piano, but the piano is still center stage. It's the focus of this song, and it comes through very well. So the other instruments are not drowning out the piano, and the piano is not drowning out the other instruments. So there's a good degree of separation amongst the instruments. It's at about 2 o'clock now. Yeah. When the piano hits, when the piano keys hit, there's this very pleasurable thudding feeling. It's not a thudding sound, it's a thudding feeling within the ear cups. It's like when you're sitting in a theater with THX sound, surround sound, and you can feel the thudding of something. A punch being thrown against another character in the movie. You can sometimes really just feel the impact. Although it's not overwhelming, you can still feel it, and that's the effect I'm essentially getting here. Not sibilant, not high. In other more expensive headphones, like the 1770s, there are certain portions of the song that get much too trebly for me, too close to sibilant, ear piercing. The Monoprice just keep it really smooth. Very pleasurable. There is Soundstage left and right. Although I have to say that none of the instruments seem to be more forward or back. It's just all kind of straight in a line, but left and right. Much like the 1770s. So I went a little bit more than I wanted to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch the same playlist on my iPhone. It's also downloaded on my iPhone. I have the dongle connected, and I'm going to disconnect from the JDS Labs, connecting it to the dongle, and I'm going to listen to Flight from the City. Here we go. The volume is halfway. I'm going to take it up. Around 85% of the volume, I'm guessing because there's no percentage volume on my iPhone, but around 85%, it's comfortable listening. Still left and right soundstage. I'm going to take it up to about 95%, 90%. I can still get that impact on the headphone from the keys hitting. And by the way, I just noticed that on the screen capture is actually showing to you how it's playing on my phone. The Spotify integration is just fantastic. They do this is so much better than iTunes. I think that the other string instruments, while played on the iPhone, are not as clear and not as detailed as on the desktop DAC amp. They're much more muted on my iPhone. But the strange thing is that the impact of the keys on the piano seems to come out about the same. Yeah, clear soundstage. There was a string instrument, maybe a violin, that was just playing on the left side, whereas the piano remained center. There is a clear separation of the instruments. Nothing is bleeding into anything else, at least not of any significance. So there's not a whole lot of detail from these headphones, as I've said before. The 1770s definitely give you more detail than this, but for $25, this is good detail on a pair of headphones. Okay, so I'm going to stop playing this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen for that electric buzz I was talking about originally. So I'm going to take this back to about 5 seconds, and I'm going to play it at about 95% volume. And I'm listening for that buzz. It's there. More muted than it was on the desktop amp. Yeah, so it just doesn't, it's not able to deliver whatever that frequency the buzz is at. It's not able to deliver it as cleanly, as detailed, or as precisely as the desktop amp. It's there, and at higher volume I can pick it out because I know what to look for, listen for. If I take it down to about 35% volume, I may as well not even have headphones on playing because I can barely hear it. 50% volume, listenable. And I can hear the buzz from the the electric buzz. Okay. So I'm going to switch back. The thing with the retros is that they have a screw-on 1/4-inch adapter, which is good because it'll never come out, but it's also bad because if you're used to just yanking out the 1/4-inch adapter, it won't come out. So back on, can I jump out of this? Okay, so back on the desktop, and I want to play, let's do drum solo, because that's got a lot of bass in it. So let's do drum solo starting now. Drum solo starting now. Okay, so I'm going to have to turn off the app on Spotify. There we go. Drum solo starting now. Oh, good. Volume is at 12 o'clock. Clear soundstage left and right. The drums are playing left to right. The impact of the drums at noon on the DAC amp is not particularly detailed or impactful. Taking it at 2 o'clock. Yeah. So when he's hitting the cymbals, they're less detailed than they are in the 1770s. The 1770s definitely have more impact to the bass than the retros. Yeah, so the bass on this is a little looser. Well, not a little. It's definitely looser than on the 1770s. And the only reason I mentioned the 1770s in this video is because I have the 1770s on my mind. I've been listening to them for days and days. So that's the easiest one for me to compare to. As far as soundstage, it definitely has left and right. As far as depth, I don't think it has much depth. What's a good song for depth? What do you think? How about, let's do Superposition. Why not? Starting at noon. Yeah, I mean, clear soundstage. detail. I can pick up the nuances of the song. Good bass reproduction, though still loose. The vocal is grainy, not smooth. So compared to the planar magnetics, this is definitely not smooth tonality. Compared to the 1770, let me think. Yeah, I think the 1770s have a better tonal response than the retro. Yeah, it's a little grainy as far as the tonality goes, the vocals go, with superposition at least. Okay, so I'm going to launch it on launch Spotify on my phone. Disconnect from the DAC. Attach this. Okay, so back to test playlist, and let's start with drum solo because that's, I'm going to keep up with that. Let's start drum solo. 95% volume. Yeah, definitely still soundstage left to right. No depth in soundstage. Same thing I said about the desktop amp, which is the bass is not particularly precise. There's not a whole lot of impact to the bass, strangely enough, because these headphones can produce a lot of good bass. But for a drum solo, it's not particularly bassy, if that makes any sense. And about 50% volume, it's not even worth it. You have to push these headphones to about 85 to 90% volume to actually start feeling the bass in the ear cups. Yeah, so as far as soundstage goes, left and right definitely is there. Now I'm going to go to superposition. 90% volume. There's clear separation amongst all the instruments. There's a humming in the back, like from a bass instrument of some sort. Kind of reverberation. I hear it, I don't feel it. And my concern about the vocals is still the same here. It's still grainy. It's clear, but it's grainy, and it's not easy to listen to at higher volume, which you have to push these headphones to actually get something out of them. At 90%, the vocals on this song with these headphones, not easy to listen to. At 50% volume, yeah, it's fine at 50%, but then you're not really engrossed in the song. You can't be. It's not enough volume here. Okay, so what have I learned? Desktop amp definitely gives much more to the retros than the iPhone. That should not be a surprise to anybody. So I'm done using the desktop amp. I want to just concentrate on the iPhone for the next song or so. Let's go to Dreamer, which is a pretty bassy song. Start there. And again, this is on my iPhone. There's some electric mojo going on at the beginning of the song, which I do hear. And I'm going to listen to her voice and try to figure out if there's any significant bass impact. Yep, once again, live soundstage left and right. Yeah, so the vocal is, again, grainy. Her voice is not that great to begin with, at least not for this song. But it's like listening to T-Pain all day long with his synthesized voice. If you had to listen to every song in T-Pain's synthesized voice, you would pull your ears off your head. So that's that's kind of the impression I get from these. No offense to T-Pain. Yeah, in order to feel the impact of the bass, because this is a very bassy song, in order to get the bass, you have to push these headphones to max volume on the iPhone. And at that point, now you're struggling with the vocal because that becomes a little fatigue, not a little, it becomes very fatiguing to the ears. Let me go to Angel by Massive Attack. And I'm pushing it at 95% now. When the song starts, there's this low rumble of the bass frequency, and it just builds and builds and builds. And then the bass drums start. The drums start. There's clear soundstage. There's one thing I cannot fault these headphones for. Lack of soundstage. They do have great left and right soundstage. As far as depth, I haven't heard it on any song, and I know that these songs do have depth in the frequencies, and good headphones will pick them up. Even at 75%, I'm not really getting the enjoyment out of these headphones, so I have to push them to about 95% to enjoy this song for its bassiness. Okay, so how about Mountains by Hans Zimmer? There's a lot of build up to this song, so I'm just going to... Oh, hold on. 95% volume. You can hear the tick-tock at the beginning of this song. If any song has depth on Soundstage, it's Mountains. You hear the build-up of the string instruments in the background. So it's not really in the background on Soundstage. It's just muted. So it's quieter, and then it builds up. Whereas with much more expensive headphones, open back headphones, you can actually tell that it's in the background. Like Soundstage, it's placed further back. On the retros, it just comes off as quieter than the other instruments. I'm going to skip ahead to about a minute and 55. Now it builds up. We're at 100% volume. And there's a rumbling right around here at the background that I do pick up. But it's not as enjoyable as on other headphones. Like the D2000s have a much better reproduction of the bass, of the rumbling at this point in this song. I remember that because I listened to the D2000 with this song all the time. And if I bring the volume down to 50%, I get barely any detail. 75%, a little better. 100%, that's the max. And the detail's not that fantastic, even with pushing it 100% volume. And it's grainy throughout. Okay, so that's a quick 20-minute test of the retro. Can they be driven by an iPhone? Yes, but not well. Can they be driven by a desktop amp? Absolutely. Do you need the Element DAC amp in order to use these headphones? No. You can get the FX Audio. I use the Monoprice Retro with the FX Audio DAC X6, which is I think $60 on Amazon. I use that with the Monoprice, and it works great. I never have to take that amp over 50% volume to actually enjoy these headphones. So it's your iPhone can drive only so much. Even at 32 ohms impedance, it's not going to work because I said the decibel response is 94, which isn't great. I said that before. So it's not as if you're going to get a whole lot out of your mobile device. You're not. In order to fully enjoy these headphones, to get the full bass with the pad change, I would recommend a portable DAC amp like the Q5 or something similar to that, or just use a desktop amp like the FX Audio. Hopefully that's been helpful, and whoever requested this, hopefully this has been helpful. If you were looking for some other information, if you were looking for something specific, leave a comment, let me know, and I'll get on it. And if there's a specific song that you want me to listen to and it's available on Spotify, tell me. I will use these headphones with that particular song, compare on the desktop, compare on my iPhone, and then I'll be able to tell you what I hear. And then you can sit at home and figure out, okay, this is the song that I want to listen to, and do I hear what No Theme Reviews hears? That would probably be the most helpful thing for you. Okay, we'll be back to the 1770s probably in the next couple of days or so. But I can say this. I can end this video by saying the 1770s finally win. How about that, huh? The 1770s win against the Monoprice Retro. I have to congratulate Beyerdynamic. You have won against a $25 pair of headphones with a $40 pad change. You have outdone yourself, Beyerdynamic. I have to handily give you this award. You won the contest between the 1770s and the Monoprice Retro. So, hooray! That's one more to win. They beat the 9500 as well. So, it's definitely the king of the sub $100 headphone category. Sorry for everybody who paid $600 for those headphones. All right, everybody have a good night.